All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to do a quick review of the quantum sector. I'm a little busy at work, but there's a lot going on. And look, I'm never here to only talk about the good on the way up, all right? There are two sides to every coin, and I think we need to start respecting what might be the other side of the coin that was here, all right? Clearly, one of the strongest sectors that ended the year, right? I mean, just look at Rigetti on its own, IonQ, QBTS, all the other ones I'm going to look at, right? Respectively have done beautiful 4X's or more, right? So, all that said, believe me, I love the parabolicness of stocks, and every sector that does that crazy up tends to bring a crazy down, right? And I think what matters a lot more than these stocks by themselves, and I'll give you my thoughts on them by themselves, right? But what is now being really just it's harder. Okay, I can't get the words out. So I've continually said, and I mean from that entire run, right? NASDAQ was by far the best of the indices. And when I'm talking about the indices, I'm talking about three indexes, okay, right? I'm talking about the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ that you're looking at, okay? NASDAQ has still remained the best of the three. But two things. Number one, that's a scary candle after a really important doji. That's the doji right there, and that's the scary candle today. That's a really big percentage too. I always say an index should only move zero point 0.3 up or down. This is 6x that zero point 0.3, right? So that's a bad candle down to say the least. All right. All of a sudden, S&P 500 is looking a lot worse. Same doji bad candle. All of a sudden, we're below the 50 moving average. There's actually a death cross. The 8 is going under the 50. I'm going to kind of guess that the 20 is in a death cross this thing maybe by Friday at the latest, if not Wednesday, or again, Thursday's closed too. So now all of a sudden we're looking at a short week this week too, right? So S&P's looking scary, and hey, Dow Jones is actually horribly worse. It lost the 50 that quickly. It tried to bounce on the 100. It kind of seems like it's not, and it looks like that 8's about to death cross the 100, and we're about to potentially go from the 100 to the 2, right? A lot of green, red. That's probably a line somewhere right there, maybe that one or that one. Again, that's the only line I'm drawing, and that's probably the more important one, right? So, and they happen to be almost dollar to dollar the same, right? So, with the concern of the other two indices, I have to give a lot more concern to the NASDAQ, right? With the loss of the doji confirmation that I was really hoping for, I have to give more concern to the NASDAQ. RSI is definitely on the lower side, but yeah, as you start to look at the weekly, that's still a little bit concerning. And yeah, we might be, we haven't lost the 8 this entire time on the NASDAQ weekly. I think there's reason to think maybe. And that's all we're doing right now, right? We'll see where Friday closes, but yeah, that one did not close under. That one did not close under. That one opened under, but it closed up here at 19.6, right? You see the green line up there, right? So this is looking like the first weekly close under the 8, and then we'll see what the next week confirmation ends up being or not being, right? So NASDAQ's looming concern far outweighs any sector strength. All right, and like I said, I think we're starting to see a little bit across the board with the tickers. Last thing I'm going to talk about on the opening thoughts, I'll give you more thoughts as I get into it. So QSI, I saw a lot of comments about either an offering or a private selling. I know there were a lot of different terms that we're trying to use. Look, number one, I'm not pretending to be smart enough to understand all of that. I really don't, right? But if you look at this entire screen, there's absolutely nothing that talks about share count. I'm honest, I use a different set of charts. I use the 1 and the 2. We're looking at chart readers here. Those don't have anything to do, like I don't care about float. I know a lot of people do. I'm not saying you shouldn't care, but yeah, my strategy, share count doesn't matter. To me, if you're a stock, as I zoom out, right? Like, let's just zoom out real quick. Beginning of the year, oh, interesting. It's not as low as I expected. But hey, you can at least look here. That when I look at a stock that at one point was trading at 63 cents, right? You can see it was actually as low as 61 cents on this day, right? When you go from 60 something cents to $4.60, if you can make an offering around here, even if it's for like $2, I personally would rather get money by giving away shares than by taking a loan, by having a new monthly payment, by now having increased debt, increased liability on the company. Look, share counts come and go. They really do. When you're talking about a quantum computer in the quantum sector, look, I'm a dumb dude. I am not pretending I'm an expert, but that sounds really expensive to me. It sounds like you're going to need a lot of money to compete with the Googles, the Nvidias, the Microsofts, the big boys and the big girls that these little ones are trying to one day become or beat, right? So I think in a lot of ways, funding is important. The way you get funding actually matters, all right? To me, I'd rather do it this way. Market tends to not like it, all right? But to me, the offering details matter the most. Tell me it was at $2. I believe that we're going to come down close to $2, but hey, I'm still looking at and the one stock that I've mentioned this before on was Cooler. Right around here, we were around that 120 something. Cooler made an offering at 70 something cents. I thought we were going to fall here. You know what? The market decided it was okay and kept going. Hey, remember, the NASDAQ conditions were different, right? December 2nd onward, we were still going up. So, hey, maybe it was just a matter of good timing, right? So, not everything is as apples to apples, but again, QSI offering, private sell, whatever you want to call it, I don't mind it. It's something the market tends to not like, but it should be a good thing long term if the company does some good things with that stuff. All right. So that's the opening thoughts right there. Let me head back to RGTI. Before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There's only one here. Is there nothing up there? No, there isn't. Yeah, I remember I deleted a bunch of lines. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Hey, anything you can do helps so much. Man, these sector videos have done me so well, and I'm very appreciative. But one more time, I'm not here to be a fanboy. I'm going to say both sides of the coin. And yeah, this one's going to be a little bit on the concerning side. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just trying to be as impartial as I can be, just like I do on all the other videos, all right? So, look, I think the first thing that's really catching my eye isn't up here. And you know I always start up here. This was the first day we traded under the 50-day volume line. Right? Ever since the takeoff, right? All of a sudden it's nothing. Then all of a sudden it's these big candles. And since that 4th onward, we have been well over, arguably destroyed. And today was the first trading day under the line. Okay, obviously we're still over the 8 moving average. Obviously the MACD is still positive and there's still the green over it. But sometimes little things catch my eye. I've been doing this for a bit, right? I'm not trying to pretend to be a pro or anything like that, but I think this is a lot louder of a signal. Maybe I'm overreacting. For real, I might be overreacting. But if I'm going to sit here and on every video say volume is king, volume is queen for the ladies out there, I have to pay attention to that, right? So that's interesting to me, to say the least. Then you add the fact that this is a short week, seemingly out of the blue. I'll be honest, I had no idea. But Thursday there is no trading. It's a day of mourning, is what I believe it is. I think everyone seems to like Jimmy Carter, so I'm glad they did it for the guy. But I had no idea. I was expecting this to be a full trading week. All of a sudden, tomorrow's the last day, and then we're gonna come back on Friday, and then we're gonna have a normal weekend. Like that's a little weird right there, right? So all that makes me, on top of what I was saying about the NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ's not looking good. That's a scary. Normally, when you have a doji over some or on some important lines, the next candle matters. That was a bad next candle. And I think this worries me. S&P 500 looks even worse with some extra death crosses here. And then Dow Jones looks even scarier behind it, right? So to me, I think I'm starting to believe that we might lose the 8 and head down here on Rigetti to 13.17. I actually see that the 8 moving average is even lower and it's sitting at 12.13 right there, right? Damn, that's a bad after hours drop. I see us actually going into the 16s right now. Look, one more time, I can see us going to 13. I can see us going to 12. Most of the time, I would say we're for sure bullish still here. We're for sure still bullish here. Look, that's a scary fall down, number one. And hey, I think the NASDAQ is making me think a lot of stocks are about. Look, let's just do this. I don't know if you watched it or not. Palantir looks like it's about to come to the 50. I respect Palantir way more than any of these, quantum tickers. And I say that again with respect and love, right? They're all just random letters to me, right? But yeah, if I'm thinking Palantir is going to go to the 50, you gotta believe I'm thinking most tech stocks below that in my hierarchy of stocks is probably going to do that or worse, right? So the real concern, and I use the word parabolic for a reason, I love, and I'm zooming out to find it because I know it's there, and here it is. I love chasing red, 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 red to green, 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 green. It's maybe the top 2 or 3 rhymes and catchphrases I got on chart readers, right? For every, and there was just one right here, for every green, 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 there's a red, red, red. Hey, this one didn't go all the way down, but it probably took at least half. This green, green, green was a complete red, red, red down, right? And then some. I see a lot of green, 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 and the same big channels up I get excited for. I'm afraid that these are real big channels down. Like you can easily go from here to here, reset the RSI, go from here to here, reset the RSI, and then some, right? Those same things we track up and try to make profit on bring me concerns on the way down, all right? And let's look at the other ones, right? Let's look at IonQ, arguably the same level of legit, right? I would say for me that line's going to be the orange one. I think I'm a little more comfortable saying let's see what you can do to this 41, but again, I'm already seeing it. We're dropping after hours. I don't pay too much attention after hours, but I see the NASDAQ loudness, and I think it's making sense here, right? Again, I think IonQ is a beast, and I think IonQ is probably the most stable of the sector. I think let me know if I'm wrong. Legit, these are just some dude's opinion, right? I think Palantir is way more legit than IonQ. And if I'm here thinking Palantir is about to struggle because it's tough, Palantir's had such good earnings too, back to back, blah blah blah, right? So I'm worried for the sector and for tech. Again, short term at the minimum, but short term can last a little bit long, right? Let's look at the next one, QBTS. Same kind of thoughts, right? I saw the gap up this morning. This thing opened higher than yesterday. It opens at 1050. All of a sudden, we're seeing a -6 day. And look at that after hours following the rest, right? It makes sense that we're coming to a place where I think we might be losing the 8, probably going to come to the 20. If we lose the 20, we might be coming to the 50. And normally I would say, hey, that's a really fresh line, right? I don't think I said that much with Rigetti. Like normally I would say that's a super fresh, strong line. I'm telling you, I think a scary NASDAQ, QBTS is where we were. I think a scary NASDAQ far outweighs some random tech stocks 20 moving average. And again, I say random with love, right? I'm not hating on these. They are all, I'm just, you get it. I'm butchering the point, right? From there, there's a lot of other little ones, right? And WIMI is one we're still talking about. WIMI is one that obviously had a green day today. And again, I'm here looking at sectors more than I'm looking at other things, right? As I look at WIMI, I always want to look at Hollow as well. Hollow ain't looking that good. They both have the word hologram in it, but WIMI, I think more people are saying is a little bit more quantum. I think I might have saw a Hollow thing. Nonetheless, look, right now, I think this is a little bit of an outlier. This one was a little bit more able. That's a green, 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 red, red, red that I was able to take a green, green, green advantage of. 20 moving average actually was able to hold a little bit. But yeah, I think to me, and hey, I think this is a good outlier right here with volume, where the others were struggling with volume. This one actually beat the 50 day by quite a bit as well, right? So, I saw this one. I did. We talked about it on the Discord. I know WIMI WIMI came up today for sure. Yeah, there we go. Right in the morning, right at night, right? So when I say at night, I mean at market close, right? But I'm Eastern. These are my open and close right there, right? So yeah, we definitely saw it. We definitely caught it. But again, I'm not going to let one relatively smaller one comparatively be an outlier to this, right? So, QUBT one more time. Again, I think this one looks a little bit more normal and a little bit more like the rest. I think we're going to lose that 1435, and I think we're coming down here, right? One more time, all of this is very much on NASDAQ worries. If NASDAQ can get back over the 8 and the 20, I think that's what's going to save it, and I'll show it one last time at the end. All right, NASDAQ. Got to get me back right there, right? That's the bare minimum I'm looking for. Get me back over. That's the line that I'm going to love. Gets me back over the doji, right? Last one here, and really I'm probably going to just chapter all these together. Look, with QSI, I'm expecting us to lose the 8, come to the 20. The problem also is you lose the 20. It's a green, red, green, red, down, right? So as excited as I was, literally for the entirety of the last 2 months, I think this is the first time we have to kind of truly listen to the alarms. All right, we need confirmation on the way down. None of these have super confirmed yet, but I think the bigger picture around it probably matters a little bit more, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.